very warm welcome to office bearers, board of directors, distinguished guests to IP's webinar series, session 21. Friends, let's quickly go through the webinar guidelines. The microphone and video has been switched off for the convenience of viewers. Kindly keep it switched off in case we find any disturbance of audio or video. We'll have no option but to keep you into the waiting room. You are requested to rename after joining as per the format. Request you if can be in a good network zone for a seamless experience. Use for headphones and earphone is advised for better sound quality. The webinar is being recorded for the benefit of our members. Please park your questions for question and answer sessions along with your name in the chat window, which would be taken at the end of the session. Please use chat option to express your point of view and questions to the speaker, panelist, or IFP. Friends, in today's webinar, we'll be having a session from the speaker first, then we'll have a panel discussion, and then question and answer session will be taken care of. The past webinars, as you are all aware of, that we have done webinars so far, as you can see on the screen right now. Anytime you can log in IP's YouTube channel page and have a look at the webinars which have been conducted before.
Right. Is Johan silent chat?
The last session we had was resilience during uncertain times by Ms. Sangeeta Chandran. Friends, today's session, a very important session on law and NOC on groundwater utilization. Friends, we have been seeing in past so many years or decades, we have been some other way exploiting in Mother Nature Earth. We have overexploited it. We have seen it well during lockdown when we could see Mother Nature try to restore and reverse, getting cleaner, rivers getting cleaner, pollution levels getting lower, birds charming in the complete jungles, which we had never seen in the past so many years. Similar to that case is water, which is depleting. We all know that, and it is depleting at a major level. A law was passed in probably a year and a half or 2 years back. It has come into implementation now. I know it is a very tough time we are passing through, and during this time when we have to go through a different scenario altogether, we have to follow act and guidelines which have been issued by CGWA to regulate and control water extraction. Friends, if I give you a brief of it, total of 6,881 sites or states and UTs district assessment has been done by CGWA, which have been identified. They have divided, CGWA has divided the whole thing into 4 zone categories. The categories are safe, semi-critical, critical, and overexploited. IIP, according to the list of what 6,881 places have been there, has marked out the total number of parks which come under each category. Just to give you a brief of it, out of 103 total park members which we have, 57 come into the safe zone, 11 are into the semi-critical zone, 4 are into the critical zone, and 31 are into the overexploited zones. To understand it further and to know what the guidelines are and how they have to be implemented and what are the consequences of it, today we have with us Mr. Chakrabarti, who is a senior scientist, former CGWA, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Department of Water Resources, River Development, and Ganga Rejuvenation, Government of India. He did his MSc Applied Geology from Hydrology of Roorkee. Experience with groundwater and taken extensive field investigations from groundwater development and management, especially in the arid and semi-arid regions of the country. During last 2 decades, worked as groundwater specialist, has developed various projects on rainwater harvesting and artificial recharge to groundwater. He has taken extensive initiative in making rainwater harvesting as a mass movement and has coordinated with various NGOs, VOs, and other concerned departments for implementation of recharge projects at different hydrogeological geological environments. Taken active initiative with various corporate for effective implementation of rainwater harvesting as a part of the corporate social responsibility. Interacted extensively with CII, FICCI, Rotary International, Army, and other institutions for successful implementation of recharge projects at grassroots levels. Under IEC, activated of MOWR, developed out-of-box module for generating awareness on water conservation and protection in the tribal areas of Chhattisgarh state. Presently working at Central Groundwater Authority, New Delhi, and is looking after the groundwater regulation and management along with evaluation of project proposals, industries, infrastructure, mining in the country. So friend, a person with vast experience, and he's there, he's agreed to help us out and understanding in what the scenario is right now. May I welcome Mr. Chakrabarti to kindly share in his details.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Most welcome, Mr. Chakrabarti.
It has been really good to be with you people to really work on the things and to interact more on the issues that are relevant today regarding the groundwater aspect. Is my presentation is visible, sir?
No, sir, you need to share it.
Just a minute. Now it is there?
Yeah, it is there. Please try to make it full screen, please.
It has come?
Yeah, perfectly, sir.
Perfect.
Continue.
Okay. What we want you members to really look into the notified guidelines which has been come out by the Central Groundwater Authority, and the important part for the water industry, water park industry, and the amusement park, because you all are belonging to that group. So I have touched all the issues which are very essential. Also, as per the request of Mr. Anuj, we have incorporated the issue how to go about with our NOCAP website, so NOCAP site, so that one can really apply online into the system. This guideline will come into the immediate effect from the notification, that is 24th September 2020. The guidelines have a pan-India applicability. The states where there is inconsistency or there is something which is a stage lower than these guidelines, the CGWA guidelines will prevail. And in the state where the provisions are a bit stringent and even they are one step ahead of the CGWA guidelines, the state provisions shall be prevail. So with that background, it will have a pan-India applicability. Now, the applications, whatever the applications will come to CGWA will be processed with regard to the availability of the groundwater. It may not necessarily that you have asked for, say, 700 KLD or 700 cubic meter, but the NOC may be accorded based on the availability of the or sustainability of the aquifer system in that area. We have also tried to make, and we are working on it for an independent agency to verify the compliance condition. Presently, it has been looked after by the respective regional offices of CGWA, but we are likely to incorporate other sort of independent agencies to ensure the compliance condition given in the NOC of CGWA is being strictly adhered to. All the industries of all the categories, that is safe, semi-critical, critical, and overexploited, abstracting more than 100 meter cube per day has to go for a water audit annually through CII, FICCI, PhD chambers, and their certified auditors. Also, all the industries or the infrastructure like amusement parks and all that, drawing more than 100 meter cube in overexploited areas has to reduce the consumption by 20% over a period of 3 years based on the water audit. All the industries abstracting groundwater more than 100 meter cube in overexploited critical and semi-critical areas has to go for a impact assessment studies. That means a groundwater abstraction impact assessment report, including the socio-economic aspects. For the NOC will be issued, if anybody applies, the NOC will be issued to the project proponent based on the impact assessment report prepared by the consultant, accredited consultant in critical, semi-critical units. That means this will be a part of the NOC condition. So one need not have to prepare it well in advance. It will be part of NOC condition for the first time. And audit for the critical, semi-critical, and safe units. So they have to apply, and we will give the NOC with these conditions. However, in the case of overexploited, one has to submit these reports before getting the NOC, and as per the guidelines in the September 2020. Now, the question comes that who are the accredited consultants? For hydrogeological and impact assessment reports, NABET accredited groundwater consultant and organizations, they are eligible. And recently we have accredited CGWB in Rajiv Gandhi National Groundwater Training and Research Institute, accredited certain consultants. Those lists are available, individual as well as the companies. So you can take the help of these people. As regard to the water audit, it is by the CII, by FICCI, by NPC, by PhD Chamber of Commerce, and internationally certified auditors, or any other auditors. They have been certified by CII, FICCI, NPC, and all that. They can be approached for taking up the water audit studies. Then in this guidelines, or the notified guidelines, there is a groundwater restoration and abstraction charges which has been introduced. All the users seeking NOC in OE areas, in overexploited areas, has to pay for groundwater restoration charges, whereas all the users in safe, semi-critical, and critical areas has to pay the groundwater abstraction charges. The basic objective of this thing, the charges, the revenue which is being generated through the Bharat Kosh and all that thing, would be a separate fund. We are working on that also to have a separate funding system, and these funds will be diverted to that area itself to take up certain suitable site-specific demand and supply-side interventions. Now, the abstraction charges for the infrastructure projects and other industries in which the amusement parks and the water industry falls into is that below 200, it is in the safe is 1 rupee per cubic meter, semi-critical 2, critical 4. And again, the next lot, we have made it for 200 to 1,000, it is 2, 3, and 6, and more than 1,000 and less than 5,000, such and such. So as we go on, the abstraction is increasing. You see the cost per quantum of the per cubic meter of the groundwater abstraction, the prices increases. This is for the safe, semi-critical, and critical. As regards to OE, this is not abstraction, this is a restoration charges. So charges are a bit higher, less than 200 it is 6, 200 to 1,000 it is 10 rupees per cubic meter, more than 5,000 it is 20 rupees per cubic meter. So this is all existing industries, and the new industries as per the guidelines will be charged this much amount. Now, all the projects proponent has to, while submitting the application form for obtaining the NOC, has to give a proposal for rooftop rainwater harvesting and recharge measures, which is mandatory within their premises. And for the industries or infrastructure unit which are likely to pollute groundwater, has to adopt the rooftop rainwater harvesting with storage. They do not have to recharge. But in the case of the water parks and these are not any way polluted and all that. So you have to implement rainwater harvesting and recharge measures within your project premises. And now, particular to this theme park and all that, all existing new public infrastructures are permitted in all areas. However, in OE areas, no new NOC. That means the parks which are existing will not be disturbed. New NOCs will not be accorded for in the OE areas for water park, theme park, and amusement park. And in the OE assessment unit, for the use of groundwater for construction activity, infrastructure projects will be permitted if there is no treated sewage within the 10-kilometer radius of the site. Once it is that we have to submit an affidavit, we don't have any treated sewage within 10 kilometers, then only that particular construction, for construction purpose, that much quantum will be accorded by the CGWA. Now, in these guidelines, we have made some sort of a robust monitoring mechanism by introducing a comprehensive management information system and latest information and communication technology tools for centralized monitoring and compliance system. It is mandatory that all the groundwater extraction structures should be fitted with digital flow meters with telemetry system. And we are trying to designate all the technical officers of the CGWB, state groundwater departments and organizations as the authorized officer for inspection and monitoring the compliance. We are also working with the district industries, a revenue officer, agriculture officer to act as the authorized officers for this work, for checking the NOC. Independent agency, as I said earlier, that we are looking for that thing also for an independent agency for monitoring of the compliance condition of the CGWA given in the NOC conditions. And we have, as per the directives of the Honorable NGT, there has been a steep hike in the penalty for any violation of the NOC conditions. These are the 15 states and UT where NOC are being accorded by the respective states and UTs. Here, these states, any of these of your projects falling in these 15 states, you have to approach the concerned states or the UTs for getting your NOC. So they are Andhra Pradesh, Goa, Himachal, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Kerala, NCT Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, West Bengal, Chandigarh, Puducherry, Lakshadweep, Punjab, and Uttar Pradesh. In other than that, remaining 20 or 21, whatever these things are there, that states and UTs, CGWA, you have to apply to CGWA for the NOC. Now, if the project proponent is in that 21 or 22 states, then they have to go for this no cap site. Let me briefly tell you how it works and how you have to go. You can log into www.cgwa-noc.gov.in, or you just type itself NOC app, no cap in the Google, and you will get into the site itself. So you can get into the CGWA website. The application categories, we have drinking and domestic 1, industry 1, infrastructure 1, mining 1, and bulk supply by the tankers and all. The drinking and domestic and bulk suppliers, this is being under process. Here we are going to discuss only about the industry and infrastructure because we are now in discussing about the amusement park and water industries. So list of the documents which are required by the industry is that certificate of the water availability or the non-availability if the groundwater is more than 10 meter cube per day. And if it is less than 10, you have to just give an affidavit that they don't have any other alternate source of water. Then groundwater quality results you have to give any of the sample over nearby of the project area. A proposal for rainwater harvesting and recharge in that what you are proposing, that you have to submit with that application form. Impact assessment OCS, if it is more than by the accredited consultant, that will be for the for those which are already existing and has taken NOC. They are applying for the renewal in that case. In OE area, you have to give the consent to establish an affidavit for drinking and domestic water use. If your project is within the 500 meter of the wetland, so you have to have a clearance from the wetland authority. Otherwise, you have to give an affidavit that my project does not fall within the 500 meter radius of any of the wetland authority. Then for the application charges, you have to go for the Bharat course transcript receipt, that once you fill up this, give the amount for the NOC application, that receipt you have to upload. And the scanned copy of the application with the sign and signature and stamp, all these things you have to submit with this application form. The annual audit is required where there is more than 100 for the already those who are going for the renewal. And groundwater abstraction and restoration charges as per rates applicable. This you need not have to do it now. Only thing you can have an idea by going into this will be given once your application is being processed and we see that yes, we are according, say 150 meter cube, accordingly we will say you that yes, this much you deposit as a groundwater abstraction charges, then only you will pay and then only the NOC will be accorded. For infrastructure, you have to submit, if there is a dewatering is involved, then you have to submit a impact assessment report based on the dewatering which you are doing, affidavit for the safe and semi-critical area, and for other things that you have to give a certificate from the government agency that treated sewage is not available within the 10 square kilometer radius. Certificate for water availability, non-availability, if it is more than 10, then you have to give a certificate. And if it's less than 10, affidavit will do. Proposal for rainwater harvesting and recharge. Water requirement computation we have given with the guidelines itself. You see, one of the annexure is that NBC norms 2016. Accordingly, you have to work out the water requirement based on the NBC norms, whatever it is indicated in that guidelines. Then for the infrastructure project, you have to give a completion certificate if the commercial use is there involved. So completion certificate, then only the NOC will be accorded. For the wetland authority, you have to see that the project does not fall within the 500 meter. STP is mandatory for groundwater requirement where there is more than 20 meter cube per day. Abstraction, there you have to go for a mandatory STP. And abstraction restoration charges, once the CGWA process your application, they will indicate that much abstraction charges or restoration charges you have to give once your application is being processed and is agreed or approved for issuance of NOC. Now, once you go into this, you have to go into the applicant interface, that is applying for the NOC, how you have to apply. You will get a screen. You will check the eligibility. Eligibility will tell you, yes, you can enter. Then you have to go for as a new user, new registration. New means, that means your amusement park or water industry is there, but you have not obtained NOC from CGWA. So you come under the new user. And if you are applying for a renewal, then it is the applicant's login. So what you have to fill up, this basic information, state, district, sub-district, that is block, taluka, and what that. Then the details of the project proponent who is filling, the concerned person, his details, UD, ID, and unique proof and all that. Then what you get is that you get a registration and a user ID and password. That will be generated and then you can enter into the system. So this sort of thing will come in applicant login. You put the username, put the password, a captcha code, then enter that code and you log in into this thing. So there are basic, I have just given an example. It's not particular pertaining to your end, but it is for a packaged drinking water we have given an example one. So you feel that you want water quality type, fresh water or a saline water or brackish, whatever it is. Applicant type, what type of, say, amusement park or the water park or whatever it is. Industries, name of the industry. This is address and other details. Then you go for which town with this. Is it a new industry, existing industry, expansion or existing industry? And then you save as a draft, whatever you fill up, you save as a draft and go to the next. Then you go for the details of the land use. Hello? Is it okay? Hello? Okay.
Padma, please check in on the person, please.
Okay. Now question is that this is the basically land use details. How much is your green belt area, open land, how much is the paved or the road area, rooftop or a building sheds, how much is that area, and the drainage in that area. You have to indicate this information you will fill. Then you will proceed further. Then source water, if there is any surface water available by any of the municipal or that, and what is the rainfall, what are the basically township or village nearby. The utilization is for a new industry, for an existing industry, or for an expansion program. This all again you save as draft and proceed ahead. Then you have to go for the details of the information of the existing and proposed. So any existing is there, what are the details? Any proposed, what are the details, water requirements? So here it is something around 50 groundwater requirement, 50 from the water supply they are getting from some municipal corporation, and 20 is the recycle. Total demand is 120. They require, basically they are now approaching to CGWA for 50 cubic meter of the groundwater fresh, because 50 they are getting from the water supply agency and 20 is the recycled water. So that way you fill up this thing, and number of days, you know the total quantum of the days. Accordingly, you fill up all the information and save it as a draft and proceed. Then recycled water, you have got 30, out of which is 20 is available for treatment. How you are doing, what are the details, you fill it up, again save as draft and proceed ahead. See, left hand side you will always get those details, and the right hand side will be the detail. So the moment you save as draft, you go out, you get that you automatically you will see that your left hand side is being tick, 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 tick column, and the rest is remaining. So that way, existing details here filled up, the dug well is there, when is the construction, how much is the dia, what is the depth, what is the mode of pump lift, what is the HP, where it is fitted, meter is there or not. Then you get a total details about this thing in this fashion. So this is for the existing one. Now you are going to have an additional, in addition to the dug well, you want a bore well also. So bore well, what are the details? Accordingly you fill up, then you will get, this is the detail of the proposed structure you are going for that thing. This detail will come into like this way. Again you save as draft and you go ahead. Then other details, groundwater availability. So not applicable as the industry is this. So you have to indicate that the area is less than. See, now it is that consuming greater than 500 meter cube or having area less than that. So that details is there. Accordingly, you have to submit a report or not. Rainwater harvesting proposal, attach referral letters, whatever the details are there. So you have to indicate those, and ultimately you have to attach those details. So then you give a self-declaration about yourself and all that thing. The processing fee non-refundable. The applicant fee is 10,000 for the fresh NOC and the 5,000 for the renewal of the. Accordingly, you submit all the things, save as a draft. Then you fill up all the information, sample certificate, everything will be there. Sample certificate of this thing, rainwater harvesting report or any other report, everything you will go. Then you will get this sort of things. All the details are filled. Now you are going to submit it finally. But remember one thing, once you are submitted, then you cannot make any changes. Either it has to be rejected or so. So you can again have a total check on this thing, get doubly sure, and then you submit. It's very clear. Online application form once submitted cannot be edited. So whatever addition you require, before you save it as a draft and you can edit it, but once you submit it, it cannot be. Water requirement for different users like domestic, industrial should match with. So you have to match as per the water flow or the water balance chart. For the green belt, you have to compute that thing, that quantum should be 3 to 5 liters per square meter is that. Accordingly, you have to work out how much total quantum of groundwater required for the green belt. Domestic water use will be as per the NBC 2016 norms. All the documents which are indicated in the application form has to be uploaded. There's a provision is there. You upload, then only your application will be submitted and will be complete. Now, this is what the way you approach and you submit the application to CGWA. Then there is a different procedure for which it will be evaluated by our regional office and subsequently by CGWA New Delhi, and accordingly you will be informed about the groundwater abstraction charges which has to be deposited. Once you deposit that, your NOC with the condition will be given to you. And now, non-compliance consequences. These are the certain things which is very important you to know. This is the first part, is that wetland part. If your project is near the wetland, you have to submit a detailed report. Otherwise, you have to give a affidavit certificate that my project does not fall in the any defined wetland as per the Wetland Atlas Authority. So those details are available on our site and all that thing. Now, CPCB has submitted report as per the direction of the Honorable NGT to levy environmental compensation for any illegal abstraction of groundwater levied to be by this CPCB report. So this illegal means anybody who is not taking NOC in spite they have got the groundwater abstraction, they will be considered as the illegal one and they will be levied environmental compensation. That I will let you know how it is calculated and how it is done. And the EC will be levied for the corresponding rate as per the category. The rate says less than 200 safe, it will be 20 rupees per cubic meter, semi-critical 40 rupees, critical 60 rupees, overexploited 80 rupees. And if you go above 5,000, it is something around 200 rupees per cubic meter. And the minimum environmental compensation has been worked out to be minimum is 1 lakh rupees. Now, there is also some provisions for the penalty and other charges based on the NOC non-fulfillment of the NOC or giving any false information and all that thing. So any violation, there is some penalty. Provision for charges for any correction, modification of the existing NOC, you have to pay some charges, then only you'll get it. If it is observed, this may not be your case for any of the amusement park, injection of contaminated water into the aquifer, which has been proposed as 2 lakhs and now it has been enhanced to 10 lakhs as per the recommendation of the CPCB and the NGT. Processing fees, which was earlier 1,000 rupees, has been raised to 10,000 rupees, and for the renewal, which was 500 rupees, has been raised to 5,000 rupees. Now, these are the things. If non-installation or defunct digital flow meter, you will be charged 2 lakh rupees. If you are not disclosing any of the particularly functional structures, 2 lakh. Defunct or abandoned. If it is abandoned, you have to intimate. If you don't intimate or if you don't disclose this thing, then also 1 lakh rupees will be found. If you have indicated that you are taking saline water, because saline water doesn't have any charges. So, but it finds that it is freshwater zones. In that case, 2 lakh will be charged. Non-installation of piezometer, 2 lakhs. Non-installation of DWLR telemetry, 1 lakh rupees. Inadequate recharge structures or non-construction or non-maintenance of the structure will have 5 lakhs and 2 lakh rupees charges. And for any contamination, it is 10 lakh rupees as in addition to the aquifer remediation. Now, there are some penalties are there. Non-submission of the water level data, water quality data annually, which you have to do because monthly basis the data, you have to maintain the logbook of these things. So for that 50,000, non-maintaining any logbook of the daily withdrawal data, 50,000 will be charges. Non-submission of photograph of recharge structure, if you are not uploaded, because we have got a self-compliance online system is there, you have to update all these things. If you don't do it, 50,000 is the fine. Non-submission of the self-compliance report, 1 lakh rupees. And any construction by unauthorized drilling rigs, because all the drilling rigs is to be registered as per this thing and states has to do it. If it is found that they are doing, then it has 1 lakh rupee fine will be there. Non-registered tanker, if you are using, 5 lakh rupees fine, and non-registration of drilling rigs, there will be 2 lakh rupees is the fine. Then I said some modification changes will have few penalty is there. Change of recharge quantum. If you want to change, in that case, 10,000. User ID you want to change, then 5,000 rupees charges. Change of firm name, 5,000. Extension of NOC, 5,000. Issuance of duplicate NOC, 5,000. Issuance of corrigendum, 5,000. So these are the certain small penalty charges we have kept. Now, renewal of the NOC, one has to apply within 3 months, at least 90 days prior to the expiry of the validity of the NOC. Before granting renewal, Central Groundwater Authority of state itself will satisfy the NOC conditions complied with. Then only it will be considered. If the project proponent fails to apply renewal within 3 months from the date of NOC, the proponent has to pay environmental compensation for the period starting from the date of expiry of the NOC till the NOC is renewed. So you have to do it well within the time. Extension of NOC. Extension of NOC will be granted maximum for 2 years. Beyond that, it will be, you have to apply for a fresh. It will not be again viewed. No further extension shall be granted after the expiry extended. In such case, the application has to apply a fresh grant of NOC by the CGWA. Now, validity of the renewal. For the infrastructure projects for drinking, domestic and urban, which is not your case, it is for 5 years. This is for the housing societies and other things. Industries. So you come in this category, the NOC will be for 3 years. And for mining, it is 2 years. But if your industry or the infrastructure is in OE category, then you will be given only 2 years. So every 2 years, your renewal will be there. Otherwise, if it is in semi-critical, safe or critical, it will be for 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. So then, sale of groundwater by a person not having valid NOC is not permitted. Infrastructure projects having so that means any of the infrastructure your projects has to have a parking area to be having interlocking or perforated tiles so that facilitate recharge mechanism. Installation of telemetry on the flow meter is mandatory. It has to be calibrated. Digital flow meter has to be calibrated once in a year through authorized agency or who has supplied to you. From there you have to get it and you have to indicate to the CGWA about this thing that you have calibrated it annually. In case of infrastructure projects, the firm to ensure that there is dual water supply for use of fresh and STP treated water. Non-compliance conditions is sufficient for cancellation or non-renewal in addition to the environmental compensation. Abstraction structures to be located within the premises. So you have to locate all the structures within your project premises. It cannot be outside your project premises. Now, this is exactly you try to understand. Processing of the existing cases submitted. That means you have submitted to CGWA, maybe lying in the regional office, maybe CGWA in the NOCAP, between 30th June 20 and to 24th September. If it is lying there, then you will be charged. 1 lakh rupee penalty will be. If it is submitted after June 20 and before September, then 1 lakh penalty will be charged. Processing of the existing cases submitted after, if the in a amusement park or water park is there, it is running for last 5 years or so, but you have not obtained NOC. Now you are applying. So in all case, environmental compensation as per guidelines will be imposed. That means environmental compensation for that. So that is, it is there that if anybody has not applied, should immediately apply. Otherwise, your environmental compensation amount will go on increasing. Applicants withdrawing water for drinking and domestic purpose for the industry or mining apply under industry or mining. That means if you are in the amusement park, amusement industry, you are considered under the infrastructure project. So your things will be categorized in under the industry category, not as a drinking and domestic, which is there for group housing societies.
May I request to go back to the previous page?
Yes.
And elaborate a bit more on processing of existing cases who have not applied so far. What suppose I'm promoting a water park from last 5 years or 3 years. What will be the penalties and how it is to be done now?
Okay. So suppose a water park is there for last 3 years or 5 years, has not applied to any of the state or to CG. Suppose he has to apply to CG, he has not done it. Now they should immediately go for it for apply, because what will happen from September 24th onwards, environmental compensation will be added based on the category and based on the quantum slot. That means less than 200 this slot, 200 to 1000 this slot, 1000 to 5000 this slot, and If it is safe, this much amount, semi-critical, this much amount, critical, this much amount, OE, this much amount. So that will be charged with a minimum. We said the environmental compensation should be 1 lakh. Okay, so that means somebody has not applied. Now he is applying in 15 December. So from 24th September onwards till 15th December, there will be environmental compensation will be charged. And suppose I take an example, any of the water park or amusement park has applied to CGWA, but has applied in the month of August. That means our last date was June, 30th June. He has applied in month of July or August. In that case, what will happen? We will charge a 1 lakh penalty will be imposed. So these are the two cases. If you have applied within July to September before the guidance, then we will charge only 1 lakh. And if you are applying after the September, that means you have applied in October, you applied in November, you are going to apply in December, or you are going to apply in January, you will be charged as the environmental compensation as per the guidelines, depending upon the number of the days per day charges are there, and which category you are following and which quantum slot you are there. Accordingly, environmental compensation will be calculated and you will be intimated to deposit that amount. Then only your NLC will be processed. It's very clear now? Okay. Now,
Yes, sir, it's clear now.
huh?
It's clear now, sir.
Okay. Now, there are very strict conditions that electromagnetic flow meter with telemetry for all seeking or who have sought the NOC, those who are having NOC and those who are applying for the NOC, has to mandatorily go for this thing within 30 days. That means you have been accorded NOC in the month of, say, October. So by November end, you must immediately go for the electromagnetic flow meter with telemetry system. For piezometer and installation with AWLR with telemetry, we have given 3 months time. So you have to ensure that anything is done. Otherwise, accordingly, the penalty will be imposed. If somebody PIL comes or NGT goes for, say that you go and check what is that, whether they have constructed the piezometer or not. Once we say no, he has not, how much time it is already 4 months. Okay, charge him with the penalty of such and such. Okay, this is the third. Now, this is brief. Let me say that in all the category you can apply. You can, a new project can come in all the yes category. Okay, except for new and expansion in the industry category, new and expansion in the OE category is not allowed. So existing in OE, not it is operating but has not taken NOC, can take NOC. But a new project which you are planning to come up in the OE area, please don't go ahead because the NOC will not be granted. So this chart will give you an identity that all the categories we have given provision that you can have, you can go ahead with the existing one, you can go ahead with the new one also, you can go ahead with the expansion also, but in the OE area, no new water park or amusement park and no expansion of the existing one will be accorded. Thank you very much. I think I have tried to, and any of the questions, I am there with you and with your panel to be there. Thank you very much for patient hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chakravarti, for giving us a whole idea about what the CGWA means to us, how we have to go ahead with it. It was really enlightening to us. I think majority of the parks have one issue which would be there because we have been under shutdown since 22nd of March till now. Few parks have opened up, but others are still shut down, and we reopening only in probably upcoming season, which will be probably April. So this might be one issue which probably we'll discuss with you through IFP and see what best can be done for them. So I hope some relief would be given to them as a special case.
Surely, surely. If any their concern is there, what you can now do is that I would request from the IAAPI to write what is the situation, what are the constraints with you people and all that. You just write it to our member secretary chairman, as well as you can mark, you can address it to our secretary also, UP Singh, indicate and that such and such problem that our amusement park and other things, we are going for such and such hardship because of the COVID and all that thing. Try to look into us or look into our case in a very soft way. That can be requested, and I think our secretary UP Singh would definitely consider it once you approach him in a proper way.
Thank you very much. I think that was the common question which every park would have asked in. So, may I request the moderator to kindly have a panel discussion? So, for that, may I kindly request to switch on AV of Mr. Yogesh Change and Mr. Rajesh Arora, please, along with Mr. Chakrabarti. In the meantime, dear guests, kindly put in your questions into the chat window. We'll take them after the panel discussion is over. So for panel discussion, we have shortlisted Mr. Yogesh Change and Mr. Rajesh Arora today. They have been shortlisted because they have, so far I know they have done many things in their park regarding rainwater harvesting and utilization of water. Both have different scenarios, different cases. They are using groundwater, using STP plants. The park they're using in water from outsourced. So we have two guests today, along with Mr. Chakrabarti, Mr. Yogesh Change. Welcome, Mr. Yogesh.
Yeah.
Mr. Rajesh Arora is also there. Mr. Rajesh Arora, please. Host, kindly switch on AV for Mr. Rajesh Arora.
Switched on, sir.
Mr. Rajesh, can you see, hear to me? Mr. Rajesh, can you hear me? By the time he joins in, may I have the privilege to ask him the first question to Mr. Yogesh Change itself. Do we at IAP have details of amusement parks category-wise depending on the classic water availability as per CWA?
Mr. Anuj, good evening. In fact, at IIP, we have actually collected all the data pertaining to the classification of amusement parks in different regions, as what sir was explaining. And in your initial speech also, in your initial presentation also, you have mentioned that out of several parks, in the safe zone, we have around 58 parks who are registered with IAP. There might be some other parks which might not have got registered. Semi-critical, semi-critical, we have 12 parks, critical 5 parks, and overexploited, we have around, in what I'm talking about is overexploited regions as per the, what is that, notification, which was done in 2016. We have 32 parks. This is the information which we have gathered.
Fine. Rajesh Arora there now? Mr. Arora, can you respond to me? I think there's some network issue, or Mr. Arora is not able to join in.
Anuj, you can continue with the questionnaire so that Mr. Arora can join after some time. Otherwise, you will be losing time.
So, what are the steps that your park has taken to obtain and from the authority? If so, elaborate answer along with figures on source of water, total annual consumption, size of STP, number of recharge wells, annual ground recharge, and net difference in extraction and recharge.
Thank you, Anuj. It's an elaborate question. Probably I might need an hour to explain. And Mr. Chakravarti might be understanding the kind of question which you have posed. All the questionnaire which he had put in, all the details in the application, you are asking me to answer in 5 minutes. I don't know how I can look into, but anyway, I'll give you the figures. See, as I was explaining, in the sense, whatever are the details which are required, this has come in probably 2 years back with regard to the groundwater extraction and things like that. And since being in Mysore and in Karnataka, we are answerable to the Karnataka State Water Authority. And accordingly, when we approached them, they said, yes, you need an NOC to be taken. This I'm talking about in late November last year, October or November last year. But after that, because the state authority also, they were not completely equipped with giving the applications and things like that. It got delayed. And in between, in the month of March, we were hit by COVID. But the basic structure remains the same. Whatever is the kind of information which was shared in the beginning by the experts, there nothing different to it. In the sense, what is important to understand for everyone is that whatever is the kind of extraction which we are taking from our groundwater source, it should get replenished so that we can actually curtail the depletion of water around us. That is a basic thing which we have to understand. Now, if you take our own example, I will give you our own example. Now, the source of water at GRS Fantasy Park, we have 2 tube wells, and we also get the municipal water supply, but that is limited. That's the reason why we have gone in for tube wells, which has been there before we even took the property. It is not that we had dug the well. We are talking about 22-year-old, bore wells, which are still functional. The total, basically when we are talking about what are the kind of involved to get NOC and all that, please understand, first we have to understand the total area what we have. We have around 113 lakh 8,000 square meters of property. This is important for us to, how we calculate the groundwater recharge, or what is the kind of quantum of rainfall which comes on our premises. That to do this, we need to have a total area. Then we are talking about from first tube well, drawing 8,500 liters per day, and second tube well we are taking 5,000 liters per day, and total requirement of water for our unit is calculated at 168 kiloliters per day. Now, total including, we have a snow park also attached to our premises, or water park. So the total requirement has been calculated at 175 kiloliters per day. Now, out of this 175 kiloliters of day requirement, we are getting around 7 KLD from municipal and 168 KLD from the groundwater source. This is the basic consumption pattern of our unit. Now, the total rainfall, what happens is, whenever we are talking about doing this, we have taken help of a senior geologist to help us out in making a DPR. Because in Karnataka state, even if we are drawing much less than 500 KLD, we have to get the DPR done by a professional agency. And we have got the DPR done. And when we did the DPR, we came to know that we have to find out what is the total rainfall which falls in our unit, our place. In the area of Mysore, it is calculated at 922 millimeters. This information has been taken from rain gauge and observation well maintained by senior geologist, Directorate of Groundwater Authority, Mysore. Then we also have to calculate, you had asked me with regard to what is the capacity of our sewage treatment plant. Now, for the information of everybody, and everybody is knowledgeable enough here, we do not have business continuously as a manufacturing unit. We are not an industry as such, but our case loads, our visitor load varies. It is a highly variable load. From as low as 80, 100 people in a day, it can go up to 6,000 people per day. Accordingly, the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board defines what is the total this thing which is required for us to set up an STP. Depending on the maximum load on a particular day, we have to design our STP. even though my requirement of water per day is 175 KLD, we have set up a STP which is around 225 KLD just to get into this particular norm of Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. We have a higher capacity of STP because the case load is totally different for different duration of the in the month of April, May, June. The number of visitors coming to the park are much higher compared to June, July, August, where the number falls down. So we have a capacity of 225 KLD, and it is a sequential batch reactor, because we also have to look at when the load is less, the unit should not get shut down because it has to function. So we have a sequential batch reactor. Now, one more factor, as what was explained earlier, is with regard to the, when we did the DPR, I also came to know that what is important is what is the kind of quality of water which is available at your premises. The quality of water has to be analyzed. It is not only enough if it is checked at your own place. They have selected area of 5 kilometers radius, and they have tested the water samples from different areas around the place, and they have done the analysis of 6 samples of water they have taken, and they have done an analysis for 17 parameters. Basically, what they are talking about is pH, dissolved solids, calcium, magnesium, iron, fluorides, and nitrates. There are several things which are there. It is only to find out whether the water which you are extracting, whether it has got contaminated or not. And also, when you are talking about recharging of water, what is important is what is a hydrological pattern of rock formation. I don't know what is it called. There is a word for that, where I think the sir can explain to us.
Aquifer.
Yeah, aquifer. So that we have to look at, because what happens is below the earth there are maps which are available in the with the government agencies with regard to what is the kind of terrain which you have. Because if it is a rocky area like what we have, then only the fissures between the rocks can actually recharge the aquifers below the ground. So these are the maps which we have to do. These are the kind of studies which has to be done, and really find out whether we are really recharging water, or whether whatever is the recharge which we are doing is going just down the drain. So these are very important factors which we have looked at. And also, while we are calculating what is the kind of consumption of water, what we have done is we have done a 3-year average number of visitors to our park. We might get 6,000 in a day, but at the same time, we also get 100 people in a day. So on an average, we have calculated at around 1,150 people. And also, we have employees in our place, which is around 350 per day, which means the total number of people in a day is 1,500. So that is the number of people we have calculated, and we have taken as whatever was sir was saying, we have calculated at the rate of 45 liters per day of consumption. That is as per National Building Code 2016 BIS. So water requirement for buildings and other than residences we have taken, because we fall under the industrial category according to whatever is the norms which have been done. Now, one more factor which I wanted to sum it up is that what is the domestic consumption? See, because we are neither an industry nor a hotel. We are in between. We are an entertainment kind of a park, because these are not defined anywhere. Now, what I am trying to say is that what we have taken is, for industrial applications, we have divided the, I think sir should help us in this. We have divided the quantum of water usage at our place into 2 categories. One is for pool top-up. In the sense, we are talking about large water bodies. I'm not talking about a swimming pool. We have large water bodies where we have wave pool, and then chill kids pool, and several other pools, where there is top-up of water required on an everyday basis, because we do filtration of water to keep the hygiene of water. When we are talking about filtration, there is also a backwash which happens to remove all the muck which is formed on the filters. We require some amount of water which gets wasted by that way. Then there is people have to shower before entering the pool, and take shower later. And then we also have restaurants and all that which are defined as domestic applications. Only the pool top-up water has been classified separately, and that has been calculated at around 96 KLD out of 175. This is the total number of total KLD which is used for top-up. Then for domestic application, accordingly, we have done the calculation. Now, what are the ways of managing this consumption? See, basically, what we looked into is how best we can recharge our own rainwater at our premises. What we have found is that the topography of my park is that the one side of the park and the lowest portion of the park, the level difference is more than 13.5 meters. That means whatever water falls in one area just comes down to a particular area which is around 13.5 meters lower on a this thing of 1,13,800 meters. So we have built a large tank. I'm not talking about a tank which has been built recently. It has been built 22 years ago. A 6 lakh liter tank has been built, and all across the pathways and all that, we have stormwater drains which collect the water during the storm, during the rains, and the water is directed to this particular pit. From this pit, we transfer the water to the place where our borewells and other things are there, and then use filter mechanisms like they have made a pit where all these rocks and other things are made, and so that we have tried to percolate. Now, likewise, for the STP also, the water is collected at one particular point and transferred from that area to the STP for its functioning. Now, when the property was taken from the Industrial Area Development Board at a place, there was not even a blade of grass which was growing in this place. I think Anuj must be knowing about it. Today, the whole area has been transformed into such a green belt. And this is the information which I want to give it to Mr. Chakravarti also. It is unlike my own park, sir. I am very sure that many of the parks, not many, all the parks have given importance to greenery. Now, how can a greenery come up without having water or without, replenishing water to the ground is a question mark which we are talking about. Today, we are in such a situation where the information which came on the Central Water Authority, where they have said no NOC to be issued to amusement and water parks located in overexploited areas. You have tried to explain, but believe me, sir, some of the officers in different areas are implementing and interpreting it as no NOCs to be given even for existing players. So these are certain things where the clarity is to be sought, because in your presentation you have very clearly said no NOCs can be given. Even in the chart I saw that red is only for new players, not for existing. I hope it is so. But when we approached, one of my friend approached Delhi, for example, they were said that we need clarity on this, and officers are not having clarity. How can we have clarity? These are the questions which are coming up. So this is how we are doing, and also in water parks, sir.
Yogesh, sir, may I request that the answer be precise for the question which have been asked. Later, you can ask Mr. Chakraborty on his guidance on what can be done.
One more thing which I would like to convey. This is the last one. Is with regard to what we have done. I am trying to say with regard to controlling the consumption. Wherever we have added new facilities like change rooms and shower rooms and all that, we have put automatic cutoff switches, and also we are monitoring the storage tanks, overhead tanks, by having level controllers, because many places what happens is if we don't monitor it properly, the leakage of water is tremendous. All these factors, as well as whatever is the water drawn, we are having meters, digital meters, but telemetry meters we could not get as of now, but we have put those meters and we are monitoring on a daily basis. These are the things which we are doing, and wherever new areas are coming up for development, we are restricting the use of tarmac as well as concrete structures. We are using interlocking pavement blocks so that water can seep through the area whenever there is a rain. These are the things which I am planning to mention.
Ragesh sir, in addition to this, I'll require two more information just for reference for other park operators. What is the size of the park which we are talking about? The land volume.
We are talking about, I told you, 1,13,800 square meters means around 30 acres of, approximately 30 acres of park, which is absolutely used now by us. That is the area we are talking about, 30 acres.
30 acres, what is the total number of STP wells which what is the total size of STP you said you have? 110.
No, that depends on the number of visitors. Anuj, that doesn't depend on the size of the park. It depends on the number of visitors as well as the number of people who are coming into the park. So we have designed it for 225 KLD of water. That suffices.
50 liters per person you are presuming is that usage.
45 liters per person and the maximum number at 4,000 persons or 4,000 we have calculated.
And what are the total number of recharge wells which you have in your 30-acre property?
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah. What is the total number of recharge wells which you have in your property of 30
Just
acres?
a minute. Hello?
Hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Hello?
yes.
Wells for proper.
Just a minute. Give me, I am not in a position to hear. Hello? Hello? Hello, Anuj?
Yeah, Mr. Rakesh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I rejoined again. Yeah.
Yeah, my question was in a property worth for 30 acres, what is the total number of recharge wells which you have?
No, I told you because it all depends on the survey which you have to do, because where you cannot have, I should be guided by Mr. Chakravarti. You cannot have recharge pits wherever you want. It all depends on whether the recharge can happen properly or not. What has happened is when we did that survey, we did a geological study earlier, 6-7 years back. And what was found was wherever there is a borewell which is there, which is probably at one of the corners, we have to transfer water collected in this tank of 6 lakh liter. We have to pump it there so that the recharge happens in that area. That's what we have done.
Okay, Mr. Chakravarti, would you like to explain a bit more?
Okay, one thing is there, Yogesh, by hearing all the things, I think one thing is very important. What you can do is that what are the good things and intervention you have done? You try to give all the documents to Anuj so that it can be in your website that this is one of the type examples which you have done in what are the achievements. First of all, because that will act as a benchmark. And whenever Yogesh it gets a time, I would be love to visit once and try to really interact more better and see what are there in that. But as such, recharge is there. A 30 acre will depend upon that how much of the mini catchment you have made within that 30 acre. Based on that, the recharge structures will be there. So it's very important to have a mini catchment.
Yeah, we have done that.
It appears that Yogesh, your particular water park has done a lot of good things, and it's a high time that why don't you document all the things with photographs and other things, give it to Anuj, and so that he can put it on your official website. So these are the intervention done in the water related issues and all that thing. Because ultimately, what is happening, since your withdrawal is 175 KLD. you may have to go for water audit and all that thing, and in long run you may have to reduce. So where are the scope out there where you can go for a water audit and reduce some consumption in the long run? That will be very important.
Yeah, I know, sir. We have done that exercise in the sense since we have these stormwater drains and check dams, a kind of a thing where it can percolate. We have done that.
So in addition to that, just for your information, Mr. Chakrabarti, we also have a majority of the parks we have in India. We have open vast lands instead, hello?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have, as Mr. Yogesh said, we have lots of greenery and horticulture. So lots of water goes back into the ground itself, compared to any other infrastructure where we have too much of a concrete, where the water doesn't percolate into the ground. Amusement parks do have lot of open area, which is as lawns or in horticulture. So lots of water goes back into it, and the majority of the parks do have, I suppose, have STP plants, and they're using the STP water for horticulture. So I think Mr. Rajesh Arora is there now. Yeah, Mr. Rajesh, you're there now. Rajesh, can you hear us? I think there's some problem with this connection. So probably the next question I'll wait for him to answer it. In the meantime, probably Mr. Yogesh would like to say something about annual water extraction and annual water recharge which you do. Is there any figures or anything which can be said on it?
I'll tell you. See, we have done this since we did the DPR. The total extraction of water, what we are talking about, has been around 168 KLD per day, as I had mentioned earlier. But depending on the rainfall, which falls in Mysore, 922 millimeter, compared to the area which we have, total area of the property which we have, it has been calculated as what is the amount of recharge which can happen because of rainfall. That is calculated, and it is in the range of around 220 KLD per day. That is the calculation which has come out, which means whatever is and if you are recharging it properly, then the water balance can be much better, as what sir was saying, that it has to be documented. Yes, sir. We have documented. We have even photographs taken during the time of construction and how it is now, and also what are the kind of awards which have been given by the government of Karnataka for maintenance of gardens and all that. It has been documented. It is there as a part of the DPR itself. So all these things, and CSR also, because what is important, Anuj, is for everybody to understand is with regard to the conservation of water. How are you going to do it, and what are the kind of things which you have taken steps to propagate that information to the general public?
Thank you, Mr. Yogesh, for that. And I think Mr. Rajesh Arora is not able to join us in audio. So one of the questions which I was going to ask him, because he's running a park in Noida, which is actually overexploited zone. And I happened to talk to him, and they're actually getting in all the water from tankers, through tankers from STP plants from various locations. So I wanted him to specifically talk about something about getting water from outsource and how much they are charging in, but I'm not able to contact him. So that I'll take in a few questions which are there. One question is from Mr. Malpani, Mr. Jay Malpani. How do we figure out the OE areas? Will it be on the same website mentioned? Mr. Chakrabarti, to you.
Okay, what is there? You can go in our website, you will get groundwater assessment 2017 report. You can go to the website of CGW also, you will get the groundwater assessment report, where you will get all the overexploited 1078 or something overexploited areas of the country. So all the the entire report is you can download, you can just go through it, which are you can check where your project is there, and it comes under which category.
I'll also request IP members who are also IP staff who is listening to us to kindly share in the details with Mr. Mopani. Yeah, so the next question I have is from Mr. Basant Chawla. Can you suggest where we can get telemetric meter and list of approved consultants and approx charges?
Okay. So exactly, CGWA does not have any sort of a who are the list of approved consultants on there. But I tell you, recently there's a presentation I've seen of the IIT Kanpur. One, they have worked out with a tamper-proof flow meter with the telemetry system and all that thing. There are in everywhere you will get something, some or other people, those who are making this DWLR with telemetry system. Only thing is that now it is very important to work out for a tamper-proof telemetry system where nobody can tamper it, nobody can mishandle it and all that thing. Those are applicable. You will get number of, but as on date I don't have much, but I can give one thing. IIT Kanpur has developed. They have got one thing. What I can do is that, Anuj, I can just share the number of that gentleman in the IIT Kanpur, and you can talk to him, and you can get local. Somebody is interested somewhere in South and all that. There must be some. Lot of people are there. Those who have got, they will get in the open market as such.
And do you have any ballpark figure like how much do they cost?
No, I don't have practically. I don't have any idea.
Never mind. I'll take the number from you, and then probably I'll share it with the IP members about the details of it. Yeah, Mr.
Anuj, can I ask one question to sir?
Yeah, surely, sir.
On the same subject. Sir, for the information for all the members, in fact, we did a study. We, in fact, checked out in the market, sir, with regard to where these telemetry, flow meters are available. To my utter surprise, I am from the South. I could not put my hands on any Indian manufacturer at this point of time. Then my next question was, how can Central Water Authority put a condition that within 1 month you have to put a meter, because it is not available in the market, sir?
No, sir. No. Then it's at least I don't have exactly the name, but there are number of telemetry system, automatic flow meter with telemetry system. What I will do is that I'll try to get you, Anuj. I'll try to connect you to one or two, three such people, those who have done all this. It is pretty well available in India. You need not have to go for some UK or say European brands and all that thing. It's very much available in India. I will give some of the links to Anuj and to you also, so you can share with them. This is not an issue.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question. This question is not regarding the presentation which you gave in today, but this question has come in to me with the presentation which we had shared on FICCI platform. In that presentation, you had mentioned that one of the pictures, that the bowel casing pipe to be of MS, mild steel. Is it necessary? And if yes, do we need to go for fresh borewell in case, because majority of the borewells have plastic casings?
Oh, okay. That particular MS well, it is for the wellhead protection. This is especially for such polluting industry like tanneries, slaughterhouses, chemical industry, drugs, pharmaceuticals, and other things. In amusement park, there is no contamination, no pollution of that type. You can go ahead with that PVC pipe itself. So for all the amusement park, whatever the material of that is good enough. Don't need no. That is especially for the wellhead protection, for the contaminants not to leach into the aquifer system.
Okay, because I saw it in the presentation. There was one picture which said, so I was confused whether it is for everybody or it is just for specific industry. Okay, so I have another question which I have from Mr. Sohan Singh Jadeja. Water consumption needs to be calculated on daily basis, or it can be quarterly or annual basis, since our industry is seasonal.
Okay, what you do is that you have to fill it daily basis only. You work it out, and then you indicate the number of days. See, it is seasonal is there. So what is the catch is that the NOC, what we say, that 200 cubic meter per day and not exceeding that much cubic meter per year. So the figures are there. So if you fill up, say, 280 days into 200, So if you have a seasonal fluctuation, somewhere it is 120, somewhere it is 250, all will come into, because anyway the annual figure should not exceed. So it has to be in the daily and the annual.
Interesting question.
Just for your information, Mr. Chakraborty, water parks, especially if we talk about in northern India, see, we normally close down in November and we reopen in April.
Yes.
So April till October, you can say, is the peak season when we use water, that much of our water, a particular volume of water, and the volume drastically, drops down in winters. So that was a specific thing, which probably Mr.
Yes.
Mohan wanted to know.
So your number of days will take into account that part which is closer, this November to April part, and the peak and the minimum will be then, if you work out with the number of things, you see, check it out, the total, you take the minimum one, take the maximum one, average it out, and distribute into number of days. So suppose you have got 400 cubic meter during 2 months and 100 cubic meter during remaining months. So what you do is that you work out that to be a total, say total for 260 days, it is this much. So accordingly, I divide it with that and I put in average. Average comes out to be, say, 280. That will take into account your 400 also, 100 also.
Okay. So that is nutshell. I think any other questions from any other guest? They feel like they can raise their hand. I can probably switch on their videos. They can ask indirectly. So by the time, in case there are any question coming up, in the meantime, sir, may I ask you one thing? Is there any other agency involved other than CPCB or CGWA? Like, in case somebody knocks in at our door and says that we want to check your details, do we have to show it to anybody else or just
No.
staff from CGWA?
No, it's a CPCB, because State Pollution Control Board, because they give you the consent to operate and consent to establish and all that thing. So they and CGWA or the State Groundwater Authority, who gives you NOC and all that thing, they are only. The rest is not required.
Nobody else can?
No.
Okay. So I think with that, we'll end in the session. There are no more questions flowing in. In case the question flows in, I'll definitely forward it to you, Mr. Chakraborty, and probably
Sure.
will take your help in, getting in the details for that.
Sure.
And with that, I'd like to conclude that what Mr. Chakraborty has said, what I could see is that complete water balance of your facility has to be maintained. Correct me, Mr. Chakraborty, if I'm wrong somewhere. Water saving opportunities we have to look into wherever we can save water, and awareness among staff and guests on save water wherever we can.
Yes.
So that's what I could conclude from what Mr. Chakraborty said today, and what Mr. Yogesh has explained to us, that whatever water comes into our property, whether it is through borewell or through other sources, has to be consumed into the property itself, not even a single droplet to be sent outside, and it has to be utilized in the proper way, and whatever is left over is to be treated well and reused, and if anything left out should be recharged into the ground.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chakraborty. On that note, now I'll just share in on the presentation part again. Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty, once again for giving us the complete details about what is going to be about the NOC and the law which has come in. Dear friends, I hope the information which we got in today is going to be very helpful for us, and we need to comply to it by December 30th, I suppose, and that's the deadline. Before that, we have to comply. We have to get the NOC before that. Otherwise, the penalties and other things which Mr. Chakraborty has shown it to us would be applicable to us, and it will be a great damage. So be aware of it. Get the things done faster as you can. You need to move all the machinery to get in the NOCs done now. With that, I'd like to end the session. It is solely because of your interest and participation that the webinar series has continued to attract such high numbers and has become a useful platform where ideas, knowledge, and experience are being shared. See you virtually. Stay safe. Thank you. And please do like and subscribe to IP YouTube channel. The link is given herewith on the screen. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty, once again. Thank you, Mr. Yogesh Dange, and thank you all the participants. Thank you very much.